Hi, third graders. It's Mrs. Flurry, and we are here to finish up lesson 3-2. Yesterday, we talked about using some close but easier numbers to solve a problem, and that problem was Anne's assignment, where she and her friend were walking home from school, and Anne showed her friend her homework problem and her answer. So here's the problem again. The art club has $100 to spend on materials. They bought watercolor paints for $38 and brushes for $19. How much money does the club have left over? Now, it's not asking how much money they spent. They're asking how much they have left over. However, in order to find that, you do need to find out how much they spent. So here's what your task was. You were going to pretend that you were Anne's friend and that you did not have a pencil or calculator with you. So you were going to do this part in your head. You were going to make an estimate for how much money the club has left over. So you were going to round the 38 and 19, I hope, to close but easy to use numbers to help you solve the problem in your head. And you had this workspace to do it on. Write your estimate for how much money the club has left over. Use your estimate to decide whether Anne's answer is reasonable, and then show your work in the bubble. What I'm going to show you are some other people's solutions. Oh, that's the same thing. Here we go. So this child, child A, wrote that his estimate, or her estimate, their estimate, for how much the club had left over was $40. She said that Anne's answer was not reasonable because we knew that Anne is saying they had $67 left. So let's see how this student worked it out, because you're supposed to show your thinking. Well, they rounded 38 to 40 and 19 to 20. Those are close and easy to use numbers. Then they added 40 plus 20 together and got 60. That's her estimate of how much they spent on the supplies. Then she took that $60 and subtracted it from the $100 that the club started with and got an answer of $40. So this student is saying, no, that's not reasonable. Anne said they had $67 left over, but in reality, they had closer to $40 left over. And here's another way that a student worked on solving the problem. Okay, same problem. Whoa, same problem. And this student said the estimate for what the club had left over was $20. And again, saying that Anne's estimate was not reasonable. So let's see what this student did. So let's see in the work bubble down here what they did. Rounded, again, the 38 to 40 and then 19 to 20 and added it together and got 60. Okay, and this is what they did. They put it in words, what they did, how I did 40 plus 20 and it equals 60. Okay, and why? Because 38 is close to 40 and 19 is close to 20. Yep, those are the things that we already talked about. And then what this student did was took the 40 and the 20 and added it to 60 here. But I'm not quite sure why their estimate was $20. They don't say why they came up with 20. I can only guess or wonder how they got to the 20. Did they think 60 minus 40 is 20? Because it is. But I don't know why that they said that their estimate was 20. They don't really give us that information, do they? Okay. What it's missing is the calculations to estimate how much money the club has left. So I'm not quite sure that student quite understood the problem. Here's another one. Okay, same problem. They're saying their estimate was $40 left over. They're saying Ann's answer is not reasonable because remember, Ann is saying they have $67 left over. Here's how they did it. Let's look at this. So they started with the $100 and they took away 60, and that's 40 because 100 minus 60 is 40. Then she will have 40 left. I got 60 because I added 40 plus 20 is 60. So Ann's problem is not right. Okay? I agree with the student that Ann's problem is not right. I agree that the student should have added the 40 and the 20. But what the student did not show us, okay, what the student did not show us was how they took that 38 and made it be 40, and how they took that $19 and made it be 20. Showing this is important. That lets the reader, me and you, understand how they got this 40 and 20 to begin with. Okay? So let's go. I have it blank here. Whoa, let me stretch this out a little bit so we can see. And apologize. Oh, there we go. We'll just move this in. Okay, so what we need to do is everything. We need to show everything in our bubble. So if we're going to use easy to use but close numbers, so 38 is going to be 40. And 19, we're going to round that to 20. First, we need to add those two totals together, because we're estimating what was spent. So they spent about $60. All right? Then we need to find out what was left over. So if we start with $100 and we spend about $60, then we were going to have about $40 left. So the answer is indeed 40. And Ann's answer is not reasonable. And show your thinking and how you use the estimate in the thought bubble. This is exactly what we did. Here's our estimate first. Found the total for the estimate. Then we showed how we used the estimate. Sometimes you can just do it in numbers like I did. Sometimes you can write it out like some of the examples were that I showed. All right, so for your work today, you're going to do Math Journal page 68. Today's lesson was a little bit shorter because it was part 2 of the lesson that we started yesterday. So remember, there are times when it is quite necessary to do some mental rounding, especially in an example of shopping. If you're in the store and you have $10 and you need to buy a package of Kleenexes, and they're $8.88, you can round that to the nearest dollar, which would be $9. If you have $10 and that costs about $9, then you have enough money and you're going to have some left over. So when you are rounding numbers, round the number to something that is close but easy to use. Easy to use so that you can just quickly figure it out in your head. All right, have a good day. Bye-bye.